There is a very large group of people out there that, whether they know it or not, have been slowly amassing the perfect skill set to survive during a grid down, power down disaster situation. There will be one thing that is always true, no matter whether the lights are on or whether the lights are off. People are far more valuable than things. We're learning this now, of course, in Hurricane Ian. Things can be replaced. People can't. But when you make yourself valuable, no matter what the situation, your needs will be met because someone will need you. Someone will value you, not just the things around you. We've talked for a long time about how to prep. What should we save up? What should we put back? How much? Beans, bullets, Band-Aids. What's the most important thing and in what quantity? The most important thing in a power down, grid down situation is you and your skill set. Even the Patriot nurse, to some extent, has alluded to this because she offers training in all sorts of different aspects of emergency nursing or grid down, power down, survival nursing. Those skill sets, getting trained and making yourself valuable, will reap many, many more dividends than just stockpiling things. Because it's going to come down to psychology. What's it worth to you? There's a very strange thing going on right now in Hurricane Ian that happens every time a storm goes by, but nobody really thinks about it. Now we have a brand new psychological operations video talking about this in detail, in depth over at Patreon. We just posted it about an hour ago. It's only $1 to sign up for per month. It's not per video. It's not per week. $1 per month. If you sign up for a whole year, it's less than that. You get like a 10% discount. And believe me, there's almost 100 videos over there right now talking about all sorts of different aspects of survival. Some more pertain to women, some more pertain to men, some pertain to families. But generally speaking, the psychology of survival will require you to do the opposite of what you would think would be true. Now let's think about this for just a minute. The dollar, what's it worth? Many have said, Florida Maquis, don't you know dollars are going to be worthless? In a grid down, power down situation, nobody's going to use them. Everybody's going to use them. Everybody. Even the banks are telegraphing this. We talked about this last week, I think, where we've noticed so many people trying to go to the bank and get large amounts of actual physical cash out, and the banks don't want to let it go. Why would that be? That's them expressing a value for it. Why would they value that more than the digital dollar? If digital dollars are going to be the only thing that's got any value to it. You see, it's the perception that's going to be the reality. The psychology of it is going to be the reality. Dollars haven't been backed by gold for a very long time, yet people still use them, don't they? In a power down, grid down, end of the world, shit it's the fan situation, people will still be trading in dollars. What's going to change? What's going to change is the U.S. government is not going to be able to put a leash or a control on what things are valued at in dollars. Here's a perfect example. This is just a little innocuous tabletop ice maker. It pulls about 90 watts. It's real simple. You pour a little water in the top and you get these cute little round cubes. Now, you wouldn't think anything of it. Maybe you're got a beach house that's got a refrigerator, doesn't have an ice maker. Maybe you go plug one of these in. You could even technically, and this is my personal vehicle, plug one of these in to an SUV that had a power inverter in it, a little power plug. My vehicle is a 150 watt inverter, and like I said, the ice maker pulls 90 watts. So I technically have, and I got one of these in a closet somewhere, I have a portable ice maker that can make 27 pounds of ice a day. Now just imagine what that might be worth. in a power down, grid down situation just to have ice in a drink. Imagine there's been no power, no electricity for a month, 2 months, 3 months, just to have ice, especially here in the South. Up north where everything freezes 6 months out of the year, probably not all that valuable to you guys because nature provides you all sorts of ice. But down here, what would that be worth? What would that be worth to people who had lost everything? And it's a huge, long drive to the nearest gas station, and they're almost always out of the big ice places. You see, you couldn't do that now. You could go give the ice away for free. But if you went out and you had one of these little portable ice makers in the back of your SUV, and you were out charging, say, 50 cents a pound for ice, you'd get picked up by the police. Anti-price gouging laws. I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that would have no problem paying 50 cents, 25 cents, maybe a pound for ice brought to them out there where they're working and slaving in the hot sun, trying to pick up and clean up. They'd have absolutely no problem paying a few bucks to cover the cost of bringing the vehicle out there, and maybe you bring some little tiny styrofoam coolers so they'd have something to keep it in. Maybe you bring some different drinks and you go out there, they have no problem ponying up $5, $6, $7 for a bunch of drinks and ice for the guys. But you couldn't do it. You couldn't do it. Not even for these folks could you have done it. Somebody would have reported you, even though they would have wanted it. So that's the question. It's a very odd thing, isn't it? It seems like that would be the right thing to do, but it would be the wrong thing to do. Go out, try to take care of people, and maybe get the costs covered, maybe make a few bucks. You see, that's what I don't get about a lot of capitalists in situations like this. Why does capitalism all of a sudden become evil and terrible? And only in the purview, and here's the key. Price gouging laws are enforced by government. They're the ones who get to decide what a quote-unquote conscionable price is during a disaster. The government gets to decide what an appropriate price is. And if you're over by a dime, if you're over by $1, you're going to jail. Now, honestly, think about that for just a minute. In any other situation, people have all sorts of personal disasters in their own lives. Do they not? Does that mean every business around them has to, oh, well, wait, hold on. I hope nobody comes and walks into my business and thinks my prices are too high. Seriously, why is capitalism all of a sudden evil? Why is it all of a sudden evil when a storm comes? Because shouldn't the market determine the price? What are people willing to pay? Kind of weird, isn't it? Now, another story that a lot of folks are wondering about right now has exactly the same take on it. Nordstream. I'm sure a lot of people have seen this picture, the pipeline, the one that got damaged. I think they fixed the leaks now. And people are saying, oh, it was the U.S. did it. The U.S. for sure did it. They even said they were going to stop Nordstream one way or the other. And then some people say, well, the Russians did it to their own to make it look like somebody else did it, to give them an excuse to. And then people have said Poland, and they haven't even looked into this deep enough to understand who makes money from this. See, the idea here was Russia was pumping this gas from way up here in Vyborg and Ust-Luga through the Baltic Sea, bypassing all of these Eastern Bloc countries, right to Germany, right to Western Europe. So they had a separate pipeline. There were problems that Russia was having with countries in Eastern Europe, and the Eastern European countries were holding Russian, because there were pipelines that went through their countries into Europe as well, And so the Russians were like, look, if you don't play ball, we're going to cut off your supplies. Well, these same pipelines supplied Western Europe, who had nothing to do with the problem as well. So these Eastern European countries would say, okay, fine, if you don't give it to us, nobody gets it. So that's why they built Nordstream, so that Russia could deal with Western Europe on one footing and then deal with Eastern Europe on another footing. Which, to me, makes perfect business sense. Now, who would benefit? Who would benefit? Swedish Navy detected in Russian pipeline explosion zone. I'm sure a lot of you haven't seen this. This is from Stockholm through October, Prensa Latina. A Swedish Navy ship was near the Russian gas pipeline Nordstream 1 a few days before explosions in that facility. According to the source, the service to track the movement of the vessel showed that the Swedish warship entered the area near the pipelines twice, where leaks were soon discovered. Why twice? Why twice? Maybe once to drop off a strike team and then another time to pick them back up. Maybe. See, even when you look up Nordstream, security and military aspects, and this is right from the wiki, Swedish military experts and several politicians, including former Minister for Defense Mikael Odenberg, have stated that the pipeline may cause a security policy problem for Sweden. According to Odenberg, the pipeline motivates the Russian Navy's presence in the Swedish economic zone, and the Russians can use this for military intelligence should they want to. Finnish military scholar Alpo Juntunen has said that even though the political discussion over Nord Stream in Finland concentrates on the various ecological aspects, there are clearly military implications to the pipeline that are not discussed openly in Finland. More political concerns were raised when Vladimir Putin stated that the ecological safety of the pipeline project will be ensured by using the Baltic Fleet of the Russian Navy. German weekly Stern has reported that the fiber optic cable and repeater stations along the pipeline could theoretically also be used for espionage. Nord Stream AG asserted that a fiber optic control cable was neither necessary nor technically planned. So the Swedes have been talking about this for a long time, but I've not seen any reporting on this. The Swedes definitely have the capability to send a team down, plant explosives, and the fact that we have a report of a Swedish Navy ship entering the area twice seems pretty cut and dried. But anyway, I'll give you the first link, first pinned comment, link to Swedish Armed Forces, and you can read about how advanced they actually are and what they would have the ability to do. And see if I can find the map here. Here's Sweden, right here. Here's the pipeline. And down here, right off the coast of Sweden, is where all this occurred. So, why is nobody talking about the Swedes? I'll leave it there. But we would love to have you over at Patreon. Join us. I think you'd very much enjoy the video that we've done, specifically the one today, because you have to think in opposite terms of what survival would tell you. And even there's actually Bible scriptures that alludes to it. The idea of taking care of others first. Because when you take care of others first, you make yourself valuable to them. And when you make yourself valuable to them and they value you, they'll take care of you. Because why would they want to take care of themselves when someone else is? Or maybe you can supply something they can't supply for themselves. So I'll leave it there. God bless. Like, share, subscribe, and we'll see you guys next time. Take care.